The Whisper of the Bakunawa. In the bustling streets of Manila, where jeepneys honked like impatient roosters and the air hummed with the scent of street food, lived a 16-year-old boy named Miko. He was ordinary in most ways, obsessed with video games, dodging his Lola's endless chores, and dreaming of adventures beyond the concrete jungle. But Miko had a secret. He could hear the old stories whispering in the wind. His grandmother, a storyteller from the Visayas, had filled his childhood with tales of Philippine myths, and lately, those tales felt less like bedtime stories and more like warnings. It started on a humid evening during the full moon festival. Miko was at home in their modest apartment, scrolling through his phone, when a strange eclipse darkened the sky earlier than expected. The news called it an anomaly, but Miko's Lola clutched her rosary and muttered about the Bakunawa, the ancient serpent dragon that devours the moon. According to folklore, the Bakunawa was a colossal beast with scales like midnight waves, punished by the gods for trying to swallow the 7 moons that once lit the heavens. Now it slumbered in the depths, awakening only to hunger for the light. Miko dismissed it as superstition until he heard the banging, not from pots and pans like the old rituals to scare the dragon away, but from inside his closet. Heart pounding, he flung open the door. There, tangled in his old sneakers, was a shimmering scale the size of his palm, glowing with an inner blue fire. As he touched it, visions flooded his mind. A massive dragon coiling through stormy seas, its roar shaking islands, and a plea echoing in his head. "The moons are falling again. Find the lost guardian." Shaken, Miko stuffed the scale into his backpack and slipped out into the night. He didn't know why, but he headed to the old Intramuros walls, where history and myth blurred. That's when the second folklore stirred to life. Hiding in the shadows of a kapag tree was a Kapre, a giant tree-dwelling smoker from Tagalog tales. Towering like a basketball player on stilts, with wild hair like twisted roots and eyes like burning cigars, the Kapre puffed on a massive tobacco leaf, watching Miko with amusement. "You smell of dragon's regret, boy," the Kapre rumbled, his voice like creaking branches. "The Bakunawa stirs because the balance is broken. Eastward winds carry foreign spirits, foxes with 9 tails, ghosts that hop on stiff legs. They've crossed the seas, drawn by the dragon's unrest." Miko froze. He knew of the Kapre from stories, tricksters who misled travelers or granted wishes with a twist. "Why me?" he asked, voice barely above a whisper. The Kapre chuckled, exhaling smoke that formed fleeting images of distant lands, cherry blossoms, ancient temples, and shadowy figures. "Because you hold its scale, it chose you as courier. Venture east, across the waters, to weave the myths together before the Bakunawa swallows us all. But beware, the path twists like a Tikbalong's trail." With a wink, the Kapre vanished in a puff of smoke, leaving Miko with a map etched into his palm, a route from the Philippines to Japan, Korea, and China. The adventure had begun, pulling Miko from his ordinary life into a tapestry of legends where Philippine beasts met East Asian enigmas. As the moon re-emerged, pale and wary, Miko boarded a late-night ferry, the scale warm in his pocket. Little did he know, the next chapter would lead him to a fox spirit's cunning game.